tell you right up front, there aren't many weeks like the week of August 5th, 2019. When it comes to opportunities to be productive, to get things done, to move forward, and as a matter of fact, to have a really good time, this week is just about what you could ask for. It's a really good one, so get ready to take the most advantage of it. Stop watching YouTube videos right after this one. Stop watching YouTube videos. Okay, so why is it so big? Well, first of all, it's the week of the first quarter moon, which is always an active time, always time to implement things. This time around, it's in the sign of Scorpio. So we have the sun in Leo, and this is a regal approach to things, heart-centered for us, on a more personal level. But the moon is going to be in Scorpio. Now, the relationship between Leo and Scorpio is a bit of a tough one. It's like the king on the one hand, and then the financiers. If you want to, build a new wing to the castle or something like that, if you want to go invade the next territory over, you're going to need financing, and that's Scorpio. So it's like, who's really got the power kind of thing. So there is a little bit of that tension, but tension that can be used very productively this week. Figuring that you're not a king and you're really not going to go invade somebody, or maybe you'll want to put another wing on the castle or something like that. What we have in a more personal sense is the heartfelt determination. Remember last week's new moon, the heartfelt determination to be who we are, to do our thing. And then the Scorpio moon feeling, well, who's going to pay for that? How are we going to honor our need for security while going out and doing these heartfelt things? The sun in Leo sort of wants to, pack off and be an artist someplace. The moon in Scorpio says, I'd really kind of like to have a regular paycheck. The sun in Leo might really be looking for true love. The moon in Scorpio might say, well, I got a good thing going on over here. Do I really want to rock the boat? It's that kind of thing. That's the tension. And if you can resolve the tensions, boy, then things really can go quite well. You have to figure out a way to do that. The king has to figure out how we can raise taxes without getting the peasants in an uproar, that type of thing. But if you can figure out how to do things on a practical level, what a week. And again, it's great for, I'm emphasizing our heartfelt, good feeling type of thing in our own lives. But I mean, if you want to launch work projects, if you want to get anything off the ground, creative projects, my gosh, this is like for creativity, what a week, what an extraordinary week. So no matter what you want to do, this is a very good time. The only thing you have to do is figure out how can you do it. What do you feel comfortable with? How much do you want to invest, and how do you want to go about doing it? That's what you got to figure out. That's the beginning of the process. Once you've got that down, boom, you go forward. Actually, to tell you the truth, the first quarter moon is on Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, we have the moon in Scorpio, and it should be in general a time when you can get a lot done. Let's back up and start at the beginning of the week, though, so we have a good sense of it. Monday, moon in Libra, wants to keep things on an even keel, wants balance, comes up square to Saturn and then square to Pluto. Yeah. This is the thing for the Libra moon for quite some time. It has to deal with Saturn and Pluto. And as time has gone on, they've gotten later and later in the sign, so the Libra moon has to deal with it for a longer and longer period of time. So, the general sense then is that Monday is a day of bargaining. Monday is a day when you kind of, may need to do some negotiating. It's a day to be diplomatic, but there has to be strength behind diplomacy. There has to be some, substance to your words with Saturn and Pluto hanging out. So, I wouldn't go so cynical as to say the iron fist and the velvet glove, but I would be a little less Stalinesque and a little more Rooseveltian and say, speak softly, carry a big stick. There's got to be some substance behind what you're doing. It's a good day for negotiating, That's hard negotiating. But if you don't have anything, if you don't have any cards in your hand, boy, a lot of mixed analogies here, mixed metaphors. If you don't have any cards in your hand, then of course you don't really have any bargaining power. Now, Tuesday, the moon gets into Scorpio, and wow. The whole thing about that tension of the Scorpio first quarter moon, it's true, but what happens is as soon as the moon gets into Scorpio, it opposes Uranus. So right away, that desire for security and the status quo gets a little shook up, right? Or we find new ways to do things. We find that, okay, well, I need security, I need finances, I need emotional security. But maybe I can find it in a new way. Meanwhile, the sun in Leo trines Jupiter in Sagittarius. And this is just an upbeat, optimistic, wow, we can do it kind of energy. So that Scorpio drag, too much security needs, that Scorpio drag doesn't really take hold the way it might otherwise, because as soon as the moon gets into Scorpio, and then going throughout the rest of Tuesday, there is an awful lot of this very positive, forward-leaning energy. In general, actually, the lunar aspects are pretty good all the way through the sign of Scorpio, up until the moon trines Mercury at the end of its passage through Scorpio. So what we have is some pretty good forward-moving aspects. Yeah, you have to check and see how you're going to do things. You need to make wise decisions. You need to figure it out. But you should be able to do that. And the leaning towards innovation and change, really, really strong. Now, if Scorpio provides a drop of resistance to going forward, as soon as the moon goes into Sagittarius on Thursday, all bets are off. There is really, from here till the end of the weekend, there is just so much forward-leaning, fast-moving energy. The waxing moon gets into Sagittarius. We still have, it keeps alive that Sun-Jupiter trine. It comes to make a trine between Venus and Jupiter, which is exact also on Wednesday, Thursday. It keeps that going through the weekend. Certainly Thursday, Friday, really great for socializing, really great for the social aspects of work, very good for creativity, very good for bargaining. And this time around, it's not such hard bargaining. This time around, it's a little bit more easy to come to an agreement about things because everybody is feeling this sort of buoyant optimism, this sort of can-do type of thing. I would say Thursday night is probably, if you're going to make sort of like a long weekend type of thing, Thursday night is probably going to be one of the nicer nights of the weekend, although they're all going to be good. They're all going to be exciting. Friday has much the same kind of upbeat, outgoing energy. Now we're getting closer and closer to Jupiter's station. Now the Sun and Venus earlier in the week are making a trine to Jupiter, and Jupiter is very powerful, stationing to go direct in his own sign. And so these trines, these helpful aspects that are going to help us to do what we want to do, going to helpful for relationship, these aspects are very, very strong. Very, very strong. I mean, especially the Sun-Jupiter thing, because Sun and Jupiter, they like each other. They're both in their own signs. It's a great thing. It should be really good. So, and that energy keeps going. Lunar aspects keep that alive Thursday night, Friday into Saturday. And so, great time for socializing, great time for creativity, great time for work, projects, whatever you want to do. It's wonderful. Now, as we get closer to Sunday, we really feel Jupiter's station. Now, there's nothing so bad about a Jupiter station, that's for sure. The only thing you kind of want to keep in mind a little bit is that sometimes there can be too much enthusiasm. There can be a little over-enthusiasm. Anything seems possible. And it's wonderful that anything seems possible. But, again, you want to make sure that it's possible. That's where that Scorpio energy earlier in the week kind of helps. Now, on Sunday, early in the day, Jupiter stations to go direct. So we're feeling that wonderful Jupiter optimism Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's right there. But Uranus, at the end of Sunday, later on Sunday in the evening, Uranus stations to retrograde. And a Uranus station, particularly on Sunday, I would say, is going to have a very different kind of feel to it. It is a little bit more impatient, a little bit more impulsive. Uh, Very much everybody wants to do their own thing. There may be a little bit less of that cooperative social feel on Sunday. It might be a little bit more like, I want to go off and do my own thing. This is what I'm concerned about. If you're working, if you've got a work project, maybe you want to do it by yourself. It's not exactly the collaborative air that we would have on other days. If you can get people on the same page with you, that's wonderful. If you can get people on the same page with you, but that's the big question. The the moon is going to in Capricorn is going to make a trine to Uranus, and that is actually a very helpful start. It sort of suggests that we can get things going, but I think that that is very much like, I've got my stuff to do. We probably, after a few days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, being very oriented towards having a good time, Sunday probably gets us a little bit back into the work mode and gets us ready for starting the new week on Monday. I don't want to say that the end of the week and the weekend are not good for anything besides having a good time, because they really, really are. They're good for anything. Explore, try new things. Exploring and getting outside of your regular routines this weekend, very, very important, because that's what the energy is really about. And as long as you have as long as you have a little bit of flexibility, and I think we should have flexibility, you could really have a good time. Let serendipity guide you Thursday, Friday, Saturday too. Don't have to stick so much to plans. Sunday, it's an upbeat energy, a little bit more individualistic, a little bit more what I want to do type of thing. It's quite a week. It's quite a week, and I want you to take advantage of it. And if you stop by armanddiaz.com, you can get a free weekly newsletter that will have things like the moon void times, and it's always a little bit different than the forecast that I say out loud. All right, I will see you next week. Take care.